Hey all! Today in this video we are going to the breed studies that I started. As you've seen in the last video, I received a huge package of different fibers to try out, and there's at least 20 different breeds, if not more. And I started spinning Texel sheep. So there will be a short clip about the Texel sheep as an introduction, and then I want to explain you more about the sheep and show you my result of spinning the Texel sheep. So please enjoy this video. Recently I had the chance to visit the small monastery in here, and in this room these men are making Buddhist ornaments, and you are able to watch them for a while, how they are doing their work. It's a quite detailed work and it takes quite a while. And yeah, the shop doesn't look too comfy, their sitting position, but that's what they probably do every day here. I am starting my breed study with Texel wool that you can see here. It's part of the animal fibers collection, and it is a sheep from the Netherlands, and I will tell you more about the sheep later. And this is the test spin I'm doing. I have 27 grams of these, and you see it is a quite beautiful white, and it's drafting so easily. It's so easy to spin for me, and it is kind of fluffy and nice, and it is surprisingly soft. Like, I read something about this Texel sheep before, and they sounded much rougher and more scratchy than it is. So I'm pleasantly surprised by this, and it drafts so easily and evenly that I really enjoy the spinning process. So let's see how far I get tonight. It's really late already, but I really wanted to start on something today after having an interesting long day. I had to support a friend, bringing her to a hospital. She had a little accident, the wound got infected, and yeah, it wasn't fun. But obviously, I wanted to support her, so I couldn't start spinning immediately. But now I wind down tonight by starting to spinning this texel, and I will tell you more about it in the next days. And here's a little walk through the monastery itself. It's a beautiful ground. It's full of statues of beautiful dakinis, kind of deities that help us and protect us, and they're beautifully carved. And then we were lucky enough to also meet a lot of geese in this monastery, and they're really cute, and they will be coming up. And I hope you enjoy these little clips and everything about the spinning in this video. See you guys soon. Mhm. So why I decided to spin Texel first is a bit of a funny story. I have a friend that lives on a Dutch island, and these are Dutch island sheep. So recently we had a conversation if they actually have this kind of sheep on his island. He's living on this island, it's called Ameland. And the Texel sheep obviously come from an island named Texel, but it's not so different. So they have the sheep as well. So because of this connection, I decided from the bunch of things I have that Texel will be the first ones I want to try. And it was also one of the smaller ones, so I could still start it in the evening when I received the package. I often spin in the evenings here because that's when I have most time to sit down like this. During the days, I'm often busy, or when the sun is out. Right now, where it's still a bit of a colder season, I prefer to sit in the sun and not in the cold room. In the evening, it doesn't matter, then it's cold inside and outside. Then it doesn't make a difference if I sit inside in the cold or outside in the cold. But during the day, if I can sit in the warm sun outside and knit, for example, here on my balcony or out in the nature, I prefer to sit outside and not spend the time inside. So let me talk about the Texel sheep. It seems they are originally a breed that was there to be for meat, not so much for wool. Nowadays the wool is also used, but this is why it's one of the cheaper fibers that you can get for spinning, because it's mainly a meat breed and they also use the wool, but it's not its main purpose is not to be a wool sheep like other sheep with like softer qualities. But I actually am surprised about the softness of the wool. It's not that it's like super soft, but it's also not as scratchy as I expected it from the description when it says it's mainly a meat sheep and it's not bred for soft wool. So actually this sheep were a cross of local Dutch sheep with Lincoln and Leicester long wool in the 1800s. This is how this breed originated. And yeah, they are hardy sheep that live outside on islands where there's a lot of wind. So I think it's a good isolating fleece. And what I read about it and learned about it is that it has also a lot of lanolin. So it will be a good insulating fiber. So what is interesting about this sheep as well is that it has a nice staple length for beginners. So it's between 8 and 15 centimeters. I think mine was more on the shorter side, maybe like 10 centimeters. But it was drafting super easily and super evenly. Like, it's not that I have a perfectly even spin here, but compared to other fibers I spun, it was way easier to draft it consistently. And I made a sweep ply now, but I chain plied everything because it's just 25 gram. To divide 25 gram into 3 quantities didn't make so much sense. So I decided for this study I will try to chain ply a lot of the yarns if it works out. And this textile worked out perfectly chain plying. It was really easy to chain ply as the structure was really nice. I found that this fiber had a lot of crimp, and I've read that this fiber is not so good for felting. What is a surprise, because I always thought that sheep with more lanolin would be good for felting, but it seems it's not ideal for felting. So it's not so easy to accidentally felt it in the wash or something. But they say it is really good for dyeing. So you can dye it in many different colors. And I might try this at some point. Let's see. We first need more gas for this. There's a gas shortage in India. A lot of restaurants don't have gas for cooking. So I don't want to use the gas for dyeing fibers. But if that issue is balanced again, then I want to try and dye some of the fibers. I actually bought some indigo leaf powder yesterday because I thought that's an interesting experiment. They actually sold it for dyeing your hair in blue and black tones. So, but I asked them and they said you can also use it for fabric. So I think that would be an interesting experiment with something like this. and it wasn't as expensive as I expected indigo powder to be. But yeah, I live in India. This is where it comes from, where the source is, and yeah. So I think I could wear this next to skin. It's not like merino soft or something, but compared to, for example, the Icelandic sheep that I spun recently, or I think also the Indian wools I spun are much more coarse and scratchy. So compared to this feels softer. Like I said, not like soft, but I can easily wear this. I'm also not so sensitive with these kind of things. So I think it's a great mix, and let's see what I make with it. I'm not knitting up all the fibers that I spin immediately. Some I will because I have some projects in mind, but these are just 25 grams, so there's nothing specific that pops to my mind immediately. But yes, this is the result, and this will be the first video and the first beat for this little series. I hope you enjoyed it, and if there's anything else you wanted to know, or have other ideas on how to spin it, please let me know. I think this would spin in any way. I think you could also spin this woolen. Now everything is worsted spun because everything is comb top, and I haven't really done a lot of long draw spinning. So I should try this with a properly carded and not with a comb top. So this is why everything here will be worsted spun for now for this breed study, and I try to do chain plying for everything and see what the results are. So this is like super easy to spin. It was a lot of fun. It was a quick process. It's relatively even. It turned out beautifully, and I would easily work with this sheep again. Even though it's white, and white is not my favorite color, as I mentioned before. Too much dirt in India to wear white things. That's why I try to order a lot of non-white wools, but for white wool this is pretty nice, and it's one of the cheaper ones that you can get on the market. Okay guys, see you soon.